We are here at Serralves at the entrance of the R.H. Quaytman exhibition, chapter 35, The Sun Doesn't Move. Before we enter the core of the exhibition, I'm going to give you a few keys to know who Quaytman is and how to approach the work. Rebecca Quaytman, R.H. Quaytman, is a painter that pushes painting towards new directions, challenging paintings and the modes and the codes of representation that are traditionally associated with painting. She is making paintings at a time in a culture which is deeply dominated by photography, by media, by images that circulate extremely quickly, appear and disappear, images that are the object of reproduction and that challenge a traditional way to understand painting. So you will see in this exhibition that her approach to painting embrace, and we'll go back to that, all the means and modes and strategies of representation available to her at her fingertips. It means paintings. If I look at some of the painting around me, lacquer, serigraphy. It means photography. All of that compacted, layered, in order to produce an image that give us an open-ended narrative about our time. The other part, which is very important to understand the way Quaytman's work, is the word chapter. You see it behind me. The title of this exhibition is Chapter, Capitulo 35. From the moment she started to work, Quaytman organized, structured her work in chapter, like a book. Every exhibition that she does is a chapter. So when you put all that together, at some point, her career will be the book of now, the book of the time she's experiencing, and the book of what painting could be today. So we are now in the first main gallery of the Quaytman exhibition. Again, before we talk about a few specific works in the exhibition that, in my mind, are key works to understand her approach to her work and to painting, I need to give you a few, I would say, maybe technical details, technical information about what you are discovering, seeing. It's important to notice, and you will see it, it's obvious when you enter the exhibition, that she paints on wood panel, on wood planks, and that somehow takes us back to almost the origin of painting itself as a medium. The first icons, religious icon, or if you even go back before that to the first portrait that was painted in Egypt, in the Fayum, were portraits painted on wood planks. So somehow, if we relate that to Quaytman, her painting goes to the root of painting itself. Icons were objects that were supposed to be transported. They were nomadic images. In a way, her work goes there. I remember her explaining me that when she started painting, she had also something that museum people and artists, I'm sure, have, which is the storage anxiety. That when you paint, or when you sculpt, when you make work, at some point you see that accumulating in front of you. So she wanted her work to be able to be easily movable. And these wood panels kind of play this role. They can be put, if you want, in painting libraries and easy to move. You will also notice that they have an edge, beveled, in a way that creates a dynamic in the painting. So the painting is not an object, a flat object on a wall. You have a dynamic of the object, the image of the object, either coming in or coming out of the wall. So the painting themselves, you'll see, are, of course, images, but they are reaching out almost towards the field of sculpture. And in some of the painting, you will see that she also adds some shelves under the painting on which she can add other paintings. In this way, she can recompose and bring into the space all the work, the images that she has produced. Then if you look at this room, there's also something that you will easily notice, is that it doesn't look like a traditional painting exhibition in which you would see one painting, usually center on the wall with regular space in between. Quaytman used the painting in each chapter, almost like a data of images. Then when she comes here and install, and we were able to experience that with her, she recomposed. She recomposed almost each painting, and you will see I just mentioned the one with the shelves on which she adds painting, recomposing an image from this bank of images that she has created. But she does that in the space. The space itself is recomposed. You will see a painting in a corner, paintings in corner, paintings that are high up. She really embraces all the possibilities that a space of representation, a space of presentation offers to her. And in this way, she acts not only as an artist, but somehow as also the curator of her own art. And I mention that because it's also, I think, important to mention that being a painter, Quaytman has been a curator. And before she was known as a painter, as an artist, and before she started to show her work, she was working as a curator. And I think it's very visible as you look at her work, and you look at the way she displays her work, but also the way she relates to images. Images that come from history, images that come from the media, images that come from her personal life. That within this bank of infinite images that surround us, she curates her own language, the element of language that composes her work. So now the question is, what are these images? And again, as we will walk through the exhibition, I will give you example of where these images come from. I would say that there is maybe three major sources that she uses. The first one is the history of art. You will see painting here or images coming both from classical art, Renaissance art, or inspired by, or directly lifted from the book of art history, ranging from the Renaissance to modernity. She's very interested in artists who are the icons of early 20th century modern art, when art and progress, at time utopian progress, political progress, social progress, when art and progress were synonymous. Then you will see whether it's explicit or not, but it belongs to her way of working, image coming from her life, images of friends, images of family, that compose also the element of this narration that her different chapters are composing. She has a way to work in a site-specific manner. So when she's invited to do an exhibition, when she enters space, when she enters a culture. She gets inspired by it. This exhibition that was done in collaboration with a museum in Poland is actually inspired by Polish modernity, Eastern European modernity from the 30s. Quaytman herself is from Polish descent. Her great-grandparents or grandparents came from Poland to the United States. Two artists are very present, I would say in an oblique way in this exhibition, Katarzyna Kobro and Władysław Stremiński. And as we walk around, I will show you some example of their influence on, or their presence in the chapter that we inhabit. So she was invited to do this exhibition in Łódź, in Poland, where Kobro and Stremiński were very active. And little by little, she started to unpack their history in the local museum, their history with the local modernity, and started to build a chapter around that. When we decided to bring this exhibition here, and Quaytman came to visit, of course we're in Portugal. We are far from Poland. So she decided also to complexify this history and brought, and that will be the part of the second room of this exhibition, a chapter that she wrote, or let's say she painted, for a project in Brazil, bringing together Europe, Brazil, and actually, because she's in between here, maybe between Poland and Brazil, there you find Portugal. And bringing Brazil in this exhibition was also a way, a nod to Portugal history. I would like to add one more detail, but important detail about the surface and the medium itself. As I mentioned, they all painted on wood panels, and the dimensions of these panels are also very specific. Quaytman follows the rules or the system of the golden section, these divine proportions that have been used forever in art history. For instance, you can look at Da Vinci Mona Lisa and analyze it according to the proportion of the golden section. Something that was applied to painting, to architecture, but has been rooted in art history for centuries. So all our panels are measured and in order to follow the system of the golden section. It means that the different size that you find always follow a growth pattern informed by this golden section. So you have an equation from the golden section that creates a curve, and when you follow this curve and draw within the curve, you create the next size of painting, which it means that all painting by Quaytman can fit in each other. So when you see a large panel, that's a multiplication of the smaller panel already existing.